in procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, folks, we're going to have a wonderful show. Today is May 27th. And Crystal, this is still your birthday we're celebrating, right?
We
This
still
is
are. It's all
this.
over. It's all over Gilbert on Monday. Because that's whenever Memorial
we
Day
have
weekend is.
4 more days to go, right?
Right. 4 more days to go. And then it is to move on and let the June birthdays come in.
Well, for those of you who are
How
just
was your
tuning in,
week?
this is the Business Zone, and we are on every Friday from 3 to 4:30, and you can reach us on YouTube Live or on Facebook Live. We're even now on LinkedIn, so check us out, guys. This is an amazing show, the #1 small business show in Southern California. We provide advice, coaching, information, and resources for small businesses as they're trying to grow, expand, and get their business to the forefront of the marketplace, obtain contracts, or some grant opportunities. So, Crystal, how has
Hey,
your
well,
week been?
welcome everyone. Glad to have you on the show today. So, Gilbert, how was your week?
Oh, my week was great. I think what did I do? I'm working on my exit strategy for my client is almost done. So I submitted the draft. He's reviewing it. Monday we'll revisit it and finalize
Okay.
it. And I got a few certifications I'm working on right now for 2 businesses. So pretty excited about that. And in the meantime, doing some coaching, one-on-one coaching with other small businesses. I did an amazing coaching session yesterday, which I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you the video. It's about 14 minutes long, 14 and a half minutes long. I think we can use this as a training exercise because
Oh,
I was helping her to do her elevator pitch, and she really didn't
uh-huh.
understand what to do. So I was walking her through the process, and while I was doing it, I was giving her examples. So it was really neat, really, really neat. So
Okay.
yeah, I think we can use it as a training exercise.
Well, I think I did 4 webinars this week.
Wow, you're pretty exhausted then, huh?
Yeah, I am. Yesterday I did back to back. Literally, I
Mm.
did one right behind. I had like a second. I had to end it at 5 minutes to the hour so that
Yeah.
I could jump on to the second one.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, it was back to back. And so I had one at 4 yesterday, and then I
Wow.
had one at 6.
Wow. You are
So they were
Superwoman.
Superwoman.
I
That's
gotta get
that's
to your cape, man. You are Superwoman. You know,
and
it's amazing when I think of Superwoman, I think of you.
yeah. And it's interesting because I did and you like the super consultant or the super trainer
Yeah,
when
yeah.
one of the workshops that I did, I was asked to do it. So it wasn't some material that I actually created. It was somebody else's reared. So have you heard of a system called um 360 business processes?
I heard of that before. I heard of it. Never delved
Right.
into it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to um look at the it's like a circle, it's like a wheel, right? So
Mhm.
business processes of getting your business started, what that looks like. Then it's uh the next color of the wheel is your organizational structure. Then the
Mhm.
next then you go back up to the top and come clockwise, and it's the sales, the marketing uh processes, and then your organizational progress processes with your accounting, HR, things like that.
I've
So
never I've never seen it, but I'm sure it's very similar to what we do, right?
yeah, it
Because
is. So
that's
you just
pretty much what we've been
have to
doing.
kind of, yeah, I had to play around with it because it's more of a break into breakout sessions, and the individuals on the call, or if you were in live, you'd hand them out hand them out the sheets, and then they would go through decision making, what processes they need to focus on. So that's what it was really saying. There are
Yeah.
20 different processes in a business, but you can't work on all 20 processes at the same time.
Right.
You
Right.
have to go down to the ones that need your direct focus, your
Right.
attention right then and there.
Right.
So
Right.
kind of interesting, but since I didn't have all of the components, I had to amend it a little bit, and adjust it so that it worked. So it just turned out most of the people on the call, on the webinar, were in the starting sessions. So we focused on revenue, the business model,
Yeah.
the actual money making part of the model.
Yeah.
But it was kind of interesting. Like, okay, wait, I'm gonna have to change this one if I have to do this one again, because all the pieces weren't there. It was one of those type of presentations that was subjective,
Mm-hmm.
and since I didn't create it, I didn't know what the process was. Whoever did create it, like, oh
Yeah.
my god, okay, but I got through it. They thought it was the best webinar they'd ever participated in.
Hey, like I say, man, when you're a super consultant, you know how to do those things because that's part of your wheelhouse. And you just reach for pieces and you put them together and you make them work. So that's really what that was. That was an exercise in delivering your super consultancy to that population. That's what that was. And that's amazing. So in helping small businesses, we know that from time to time we're going to have to reach into our tool bag and come up with different tools, different devices, different resources to help our small businesses to excel and also get a grasp of what they really need to do to grow and expand their business. So having that 360 approach is amazing. Crystal mentioned, um, doing things on the fly. You are able to do things on the fly, especially when you're a super consultant, because all of these things you've done before, you have it ready and available. And that's why it's always key to be in the ready position at all times. Got to be ready at all times. Not only are you going to be ready as a consultant, but you're also going to be ready as a small business. Expect anything. Expect loans, expect grants, expect contracts, expect any of those types of things that you need to do. So that's what we're doing here. You're watching the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, and we're going to provide you some great resources and information today. If you don't know how to get a hold of us or contact us or get tuned into the show, you want to go to YouTube, youtube.com, and we're live every Friday from 3 to 4:30. Or you can go to Facebook Live. We are even now on LinkedIn. So if you got an account on any of those social media platforms, you definitely want to check things out. And from time to time, if we don't have a guest on this show, we will have what we call class in session. So that's when Crystal and we will go into some real classroom training information and we'll deliver it. It could be on finance. It could be on contracts. It could be on uh, grant readiness. It could be on running your organization. It could be on leadership. It could be on any of those things. So we want to make sure that all of you guys get the information you need. So to get that information as it comes, you want to go to YouTube and subscribe. So hit that subscribe button. And by hitting the subscribe button, you will receive any kind of notification we have. When we have certain guests on the show that you think may be of interest to your business, you can tune in. And again, this is Crystal's birthday month. So she will be celebrating her birthday until May 31st, which is the next 4 days. So her birthday started May 1st, and it's running all the way through May 31st. That's how we do it around here. We celebrate birth month, not birthdays. So my birth month is going to be in December. So it's going to be from December 1st all the way through December 31st. I sometimes even spill it over into January. So just want to let you guys know that.
I am get on co-host. Hold on a second.
My my
It
co-host
is
is having a
I'm
little
having
technical difficulty,
challenges.
but she will get back in here because, again, like I say, she's a super consultant. So she gets to figure things out on the fly, and that's how we do this. We try to
Right,
help you guys
exactly.
and make things happen. So we're gonna get this going for you guys. So I want you guys to tell us what type of challenges you guys are going through in your business right now, whether it's big or small. I want you to go to our chat and type in and let us know, what type of challenges you're facing and how you think you can solve it or how you would like us to solve it for you. We'll be happy to help solve it for you. I see we have our resident supporter here, Mr. Greg Sneed, on the program. He logs in every week, and he's a big supporter of the Business Zone. He's amazing. He provides advice and guidance as well. And Mr. Greg Sneed is one of a financial advisor and specialist, and he's got a lot of information that he can share with small businesses to help your business. As you know, small businesses, you got to have some type of financial plan to include in your business and your business life. So he said advice guidance. He's an advice guidance and advisor and court gesture. So welcome, Mr. Greg Sneed, to the program. You've been one of our amazing supporters, man, and we love you. We love you. So, Greg, anything new on the front on the business front? Anything going on with your business? Anything going on with the industry? Anything we need to know about? Are there any new rules, any new regulations, guidance? And let's find out. My co-host is still trying to log back in. That's Crystal Mitchell, my super consultant and superwoman. She's done so many things. She's done a lot of work for the Women's Business Center, the Los Angeles Urban League, Vermont Slauson Economic Development Center. She does her own thing. She runs Recycling Black Dollars. She's the executive director, one of the executive directors. And she's just phenomenal. She's doing a lot of different things out there. So Greg said to combat the bot calling, don't say hello, say good afternoon and good morning. That throws it off. Okay. I receive a lot of those calls too, Greg. I receive a lot of those calls. They call all the time. And I think in your last message, you said never say yes to anything on any of those calls that you get. Don't say yes because they can record your voice and they can include the yes that you said in any type of request or campaign that they have and make it seem like you agreed to something that they were asking about. So, folks, if you're listening, whenever you pick up your phone rings, your business phone, your home phone, and people that you don't know are asking you questions, you try to avoid saying the word yes, because they can use that yes to commit you to all types of things that you have no clue about. And also one of those, Greg said one of those would be to agree to these charges. Do you agree to these charges? Because you have already said yes, then now they got you locked in. So now you're agreeing to some charge that you know nothing about. So now they're taxing your credit card and all of that stuff. So that's what these bots do, and these they call it AI. I see my co-host is back. Hey, Crystal, can you hear me?
I am fine about that guy. I
Crystal
told you
is
I got to go
back.
get a new computer. It's happening as soon as we off the air. I'm going to buy a new computer.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. At least
So
it
I
gives you a
had a
warning.
yeah, kind of, sort of, but I had a this morning. I woke up and I looked at my email, and there was an email that was saying that the Geek Squad was going to charge my yearly membership. It's like, I don't have a yearly membership with the Geek Squad,
Exactly.
and then it had a phone number, and then it had a receipt number, and then I noticed that receipt was spelled incorrectly. So I
Yeah.
didn't call the number on the email. What I did was I went to Best Buy and contacted their office and said, "Hey, what's happening? You are not charging me anything." And they were like, "We didn't send anything to you." She goes, "That's a scam." She goes, "That's been happening a lot." So if anyone gets a email in there that says that they're going to charge you their yearly membership fee of $278,
Yeah.
don't call them. Immediately call the Geek Squad at Best Buy and verify that they didn't send it, and then contact your bank to tell them do not allow any charges for 278. But I guess it can't happen until I actually had called the number that they had left on the email
Or said yes, right?
or said yes. So
Greg said it's a
they
gook. It's a gook squad.
so yeah, so be careful, guys. It's not, it's just be careful. That's all I can say. Be careful.
I receive some of these calls too. People call me up and say, "Hey, this is Discover Card, and we're making sure that $270 that was charged on your account today has been okay by you." I'm going, what? What $270? I just go, "Hey, I'm hanging up. I don't know you guys." They're getting
Correct.
very crafty. That's true, Greg. They're getting very crafty. You've got Discover Card, you've got the Geek Squad, you've got the utility company. Because I have people call me from Southern California. Well, they claim they're from. Well, they don't say Southern California Edison. They said this is from the utility company, and they start
Yeah.
talking about electric. So you automatically assume it's
Right.
Edison, but
Exactly.
it's not. It's some
Right.
scammer out there telling you, oh, $1,000 for your utility bills, right? And then the next one is that car warranty, Crystal. You know that car warranty,
Oh
they
my
call you and say,
God.
oh, we're calling about your warranty. You got to extend it because you're gonna have some costs real soon. So we want to make sure all these scammers,
Now
man.
I Yeah,
Go ahead.
they're serious. The other day I did one on the car warranty. Greg said, "Here's another tip: have a second debit card to use online and keep it a little bit of money in there to cover
Yeah,
charges. Do not use." Right? Yeah, I use
yeah,
another card, but I the other morning I had the car warranty, or yes, the car warranty. Yeah, they called me, and I let it go to voicemail. Then I called them back, and I got
yeah,
a young lady, and I just happened to, I said, "You know what?" I called back. I said, "So first and foremost, I want you to take me off your list, and it's also car insurance. Take
yeah,
me off your list. If I was really looking for a warranty for my car, I would know who to call. I don't
yeah.
need you to call me." And I
Right.
said, so I was just mean and nasty. And I said, "So if you don't want this treatment every time you call, I really suggest ma'am, I'll take you off the list. Please do."
And you know they're lying because next week they're gonna call you again because they do the same thing with me, man. Call me up about those bogus car warranty, or they're calling about those bogus insurance for your car that they're saying, "Oh, we can save you money." I said, "How do you know you can save me money? You don't even know how much I'm paying right now." "Oh well, I guarantee you it will be lower." I'm going, get out of here.
Right. The car insurance. How you know what I'm paying?
Yeah,
No, just back off. No, I don't want you at all. I don't need you to. And I told him, I said, "And what fool would I be to give my personal information some idiot that I didn't call.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's crazy. So business
Yeah.
owners, be on the lookout. There are scammers out there. And here's another scammer. There are people calling, claiming they're calling from the SBA, and they're telling you, "Oh, we can get you your idle loan. So all you got to do is just give us this information, and then we can put it in the money in your bank account." Do not fall for that, guys. The idle loan has been closed. SBA is not offering it anymore. So please, please, please do not get caught by those scammers. And, these are folks, I don't know where they get your business name and number from. It's probably on some list somewhere. They
Well, that's a
probably,
public knowledge. All they have to
yeah,
do is go into the corporate state of California, into the corporate the business portal, and put in any
yeah,
kind of name, and
yeah.
then they'll come up with it.
They get a list.
And then, of course, we're all over the internet, utilizing, and I guess it's a good time where everyone should have a number that's isolated from their number, so
Yeah,
that it's just relatable to your business. And as
right.
Greg said, it's a bot, so hang up. And right now the Russians are, which are most of the people that are doing this stuff, they are in high gear right now.
So, guys, be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. We're here as your advocates, and we're trying to make sure that you don't fall into any of those traps. Okay?
And what do they
Putting
say? If it's too good to be true, it's too good
it
to
is
be
too
true.
good to be true. That's
Right.
right.
Because
Just
nobody.
remember this: the system is designed to tell small businesses no. So when these
Yeah.
entities are calling you real easily and willy-nilly, telling you, "Hey, we got money for you," or "We got opportunity," it's not true. They're designed to tell us no. They're designed to step on our throat and don't give us opportunities. So just remember that, guys. No one is going to go out of
Right.
their way to
Exactly.
give us opportunities.
And here's the other thing, yeah. And if they are not asking you for every kind of document under the sun, your firstborn, all your bank account, if they're not asking you for all of that, you can guarantee it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
if they're not asking you for 3 years of bank statements or
Yeah.
3 years of
Tax
tax
return.
statements and tax returns and all of that sort of stuff, then you just know for real that that's not true.
That's right. That's
So
right.
I did a class this weekend with the Urban League and bookkeeping.
Yes. Yes. That was a
Yeah,
great class, Crystal.
and then
Did you
and
get
then Thursday.
did you get the Zoom link to that? Because I think they put it on YouTube already.
Oh, did they? I didn't go. It's on their channel. I'll go over and take a look at it.
Yeah.
I did. I did the workshop that I did. I did a workshop on financial literacy on Thursday for Vermont Slauson, and so we covered some more information on helping businesses become more financial literate. And so some of the students that were on the QuickBooks class on the day before, they were actually on the class I did with Vermont Slauson.
Right.
And then some of the ladies, Bernice actually came to a workshop that I did with the new Women's Business Center. So they just like traveling around in this little circle, right? From the Urban
Yeah.
League to Vermont Slauson to the new Women's Business Center.
Yeah.
And then I meet some new guests.
Yeah.
But I did meet a lady yesterday. She was hosting for Vermont Slauson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so and I had never met her. And so her name is Jessica Unger or Ungris. And so she says, "Are you the Crystal that works with Gilbert Buchanan?" And I went, "Yeah." So she has worked with you at the Latin chamber. Is that where you were? Remember when you were? Who were you doing
Yeah,
that with? The Latin
I
Business
did.
Chamber?
I did the Latin Business Association. I did the Latino Los Angeles Latino Chamber, and also the Latino Restaurants Association. So I've done
Okay.
all of those.
Oh, it's the Restaurant Association with Lily.
Oh, Lily. Okay. All right.
She
That's
knew. Yeah, it wasn't Lily, but it was a young lady. Her name was Jessica,
oh,
and she
Jessica.
knew.
Jessica, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yes,
yes, yes, yes, yes.
yeah. So she knew you, and so Gilbert is just an amazing guy. Look at that. We. She told me that she does watch the Business Zone on. She sees it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Um, well, we're supposed to have a great guest today. Hopefully, he'll pop on in. If not, we're gonna have to be flexible and come up with a topic real quick and fast and in a hurry.
Well,
Um,
we already have a topic. We already have a topic. Our topic is financial illiteracy, so we'll go
yeah.
over that. We're super consultants. We're always ready on the fly.
Oh my. I was telling my students yesterday, I said, it in, I have seen some interesting things when it comes to how people maintain their finances. And I am so happy that people seem to be on the right pathway now. I don't know how long we're going to be in this trend, but it's really a nice trend where they're anxious and enthusiastic about making sure that their businesses run properly.
I just put your link, your video in the chat, the private chat, Crystal.
Okay, I see it.
The webinar you just did on Wednesday at the Los Angeles Urban League. I'm gonna put it in the chat also. See if people
Okay, I
want to
got
look
it. I see it. Greg says I must have money. I still have checks. Yeah,
at
true. Yeah, that's a thought process right there.
that.
But this is what I'd like to talk about. I had a conversation with someone today. It seems when it comes to budgeting and forecasting for businesses,
Yeah,
and I was talking about that last night in my class, is how important it is for people to have a game plan, that every month knowing how much money that they need to make in order to break even, and
yeah,
then how much money they need in order to produce a profit for the month, and
yeah.
not just kind of just wake up in the morning, get on the phone, and just start calling with no goals.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's something that businesses really need, because in the corporate world, and that's what I was telling my class last night. I said in the corporate world, everyone has milestones and goals that they have to reach, and it
Hmm.
seems like that does not translate well when it comes over to your own private business.
Right.
Have
Right.
you encountered that as well?
That's true. That is so true. That is so true. And
Yeah.
you see it every day. You see it every day, man. You see it every day. As much as we talk about do's and don'ts and pros and cons and tips, folks don't listen. They're not listening. So we just gotta do what we gotta do to get their attention, encourage them, or make an example so they can see that and follow the guidelines.
Exactly. Exactly. Greg is he's been doing his workshops on financial literacy. I think you got
Oh,
one on Monday, Greg, Monday or Tuesday. The key thing for them to have is a monthly must have cash for each of the 12 months. I agree with that.
mm,
I mean, how much money you need to have, which we do have when we work for someone, because we know how much we need to make as a salary and how
yeah,
what our rent is and what all our expenses are, but it doesn't seem to carry over to our business aspirations.
right.
Yeah, so that creates a problem when it comes to, and I ask businesses all the time when I first meet them, and we're doing the informational gathering. They always say, it's like, how much money have you made? I'm not sure.
Crystal, it's amazing. There's a study here that says 40% of small business owners consider themselves financially illiterate,
Yeah,
and 80%, 81% of them consider themselves to do their finances themselves. So We kind of understand why, because when you're doing finances in your business, you gotta have an expert, someone who understand the industry, they understand that space to really provide some guidance and support to you. I mean, if that's not your space financially, I mean, like you, for example, you teach bookkeeping, financials, and all of that, so that's your space. But someone like me and somebody else who that's not our space, we focus on other things, we shouldn't be doing our own financial. Even though I can say that I'm financially literate because I know a lot about financing in business, but I still don't want to do it myself. I'd rather hire a coach, Crystal, to take care of my finances and do my financial paperwork. That's just how it is. So it's amazing. So speaking about financial illiteracy, 40% of small businesses, and they're saying there's about 30 million small businesses in the United States, 30 million, and 3 million in California alone. So 40% of 3 million, you think of that. 40% of 3 million, that's who is illiterate. And that's being real generous. I'm sure it's a little more than that.
That's being generous.
Yeah. I
And
think it's a
and but
little
that's
more.
it. What that says, Gilbert, what that does say to you, what that does say to you, that if you're not aware of how money works and how to make money, you know, in the traditional sense, that you're really susceptible to scams, right?
Oh,
Because you're
yeah.
always
Oh, yeah.
looking for that fast money, as
Yeah.
opposed to understanding that there's a process to making money. And
Hmm.
because it's always baffled me how people can jump right on into, I mean, you can bring a legitimate business idea to them and concepts of how to run that business, but then they'll have, well, I don't know, I can't do this, I can't do this, and I can't do this. But then someone come along and say, hey, buy into my business that's already existing, you pay me $1,000, and then you come in and then you go out and bring some more people in, they jump right on that bandwagon. But
Yeah.
when you tell them
Without doing any research at all.
right,
Unbelievable.
that is always like, really? And I mean, when you're doing those fast type of supposed to get rich schemes, there is no business, I think, or that doesn't take time to be able to produce a a modest profit. It takes
Yeah.
a lot more to create a business that's making significant product. But
Yeah.
even for a modest product, it takes work, and you have to go through the processes of acquiring your customers and then being able to convert your customers from looky loos to sales to actual customers. They're not going to just convert that easy.
No.
But
No.
some businesses think it's pretty simple, or people buy into those businesses that make it pretty simple. Greg says they also need to be literate, which means to be sure to read business and legal documents carefully. I
Hmm.
agree. I agree. So that's a focus that we all just have as business coaches and professionals. We have to help our businesses understand and know what to look for. And that was what my class was about last night: is
Yeah.
understanding money, understanding the financial end of money, doing your research, doing your due diligence, understanding the terminologies that go along, and being able to read your own financial statements and protect your bank accounts and building your credit and monitoring your credit, all those things in order to keep your business operating and moving forward.
I just sent you 5 pages of information on financial literacy, Crystal.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
Take a look at that. Let's go over that together because I think this will
Okay.
provide some context to our listeners and viewers today.
All
Uh,
righty. Sounds good to
it,
me.
it includes that 40% of small businesses being illiterate information, as well as the 81% who does their own financials themselves. Um, I don't know about you, Crystal, and
Okay.
you probably are stronger this way than me, but I would never ever do my taxes myself. Never, never, because I know that I'm not up on the latest tax laws. I know I'm not up on that. So there's no way I'm going to do my taxes. But you do have some small business owners out there who are doing their taxes themselves, and they're not even in the financial space. It's financial or tax space. So that's another example of, small businesses making illiterate decisions. And when by we saying illiterate and illiteracy, we're not putting you down, small businesses. We're just saying the knowledge, that not knowing, not having the knowledge or the know-how, that's illiteracy. So that's really what we're trying to say. If you don't have the knowledge or know-how to do certain things, don't propose to be the jack of all trade. Get an expert in there. And that's why we have professionals that we work with. You can use them as advisors, you can use them as coaches, you can use them as counselors, but use them, and whatever you pay for that service is going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. So I just want to put that out there,
I
Crystal.
agree. Yeah, I don't. I with my clients, I highly recommend that they don't do their own taxes, mainly because the tax laws have become so convoluted over the last several years, and also especially if they haven't been maintaining their financials all along, it's best just to have a professional come in and do it. It's worth the investment. And in fact, on one of my workshops that I do teach about, I talk about your team, and your team being your bookkeeper, your CPA, and your enrolled tax agent, if that's what you're using. But I also recommend that not all tax people preparers are created equal,
Right.
and that you before you get your taxes done, review to make sure that they understand what goals are, and then at
Yeah.
that point, then you choose them based upon the one that's knowledgeable in the industry that you're in.
Right.
I think that's very important. I don't think not all professionals are created equal, and I
That's
know
true.
this for bookkeepers for sure, because I've come behind too many bookkeepers who were not really trained bookkeepers. They
Right.
did their own books maybe, or they did some books for a client or for an employer, but they really
Mhm.
did not have all the ins and outs. They didn't really know how to use the software, or they knew
Right.
how to use the software, but they didn't understand the
Right.
accounting processes that go along with it.
Right.
And so I've fixed a lot of financial statements and books based upon that. So not all people and not all coaches are created equal. You need to sit down and meet with them and make sure that you all are on the same page.
Right. 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 And
Right.
based on what we're saying here, Crystal, knowing that there's about 30 million small businesses in the United States and 3 million here in the state of California, which is amazing because it's a microcosm of the United States. It mirrors it, by 10%. So with that being said, 30 million, and if there are 40% of them that are illiterate, financially illiterate, then we're looking at what, 12 million that's really illiterate, financially illiterate. And in the case of California, it will be 1.2 million small businesses that are not very literate, right? Which, as you said, we think that number is a little higher, because the percentages are 40%, I think, is on the conservative side. If we should really look into, because
Yeah.
most of the businesses that we work with, we know they need a little help when it comes to understanding their financials. As a matter of fact, the financial piece in a small business operation is a piece that they're afraid to touch. That's a piece they don't touch at all. That's a piece where they're not current on that. They're not. It's not updated, and we see it doing back office work. They don't want to upload their balance sheet, their profit and loss, the statement of cash flow, or even their tax returns. None of that. So that tells us something. And when it comes to receiving funds and support in terms of the SBA or what we just went through with COVID, where they're having the idle and the PPP loans trying to help small businesses, many of them got rejected and refused because they did not have their financial house in order. They couldn't produce their financial statements. They couldn't produce tax returns. Some of them say they have employees, but they can't prove that they have employees. So that's part of illiteracy, not knowing the proper way to do things. I want to put this out there, Crystal, for small business owners, just so you know. Before you can say that you have an employee, before you can claim that you have an employee, you must have filed with the Department of the EDD, Employment Development Division. You have to file with them that you have employees, and you fill out a form, and that form goes into the record. And every quarter, you file a form called DE9, the DE9C. Okay, and that tells you the name of your employee, their social security number, and how much you pay them. Okay, that's how the Department of Labor or EDD know whether you have employees or not. So if you claim you have employees and you didn't file with them, as far as the state is concerned, you don't have employees. You can't claim. And when folks were trying to get their loans, their EDD and PPP loan, the idle and PPP loan, that's how the government quickly checked to find out that you lied on your application, because you said, yep, I got 5 employees. So they said, okay, no problem. We'll just check with EDD to see if they have a record of you having 5 employees. We want to see their social security number. We want to see their date of birth. We want to see their titles and how much you're paying them. When none of that shows up on the record, that means you lied. You didn't have an employee, and they can take actions if they want. So, come on, guys,
well,
let's get
some of
smarter.
those. That was some of those eye-opening messages that they received during that time. That yes, they were not employees; they were more contractors, and they knew they were contractors. It's just you couldn't get to the money unless they were actually employees. So so that's one thing, being able to set up. But payroll is that animal in business that is not something that you do haphazardly. You have to really monitor financials to make sure that you can afford an employee, and you also have to see what's going to be your ROI for an employee, because if you're bringing someone else on, the goal is, or your goal should be, is to make sure that bringing that extra body on is going to help increase your revenue, right? So or at least free you up. They may take over some of the office duties that will take you, that you now can be free of going out and securing more business, generating more revenue for your business. But I know with my clients that I've helped them prepare for employees, we monitored their income, looking at their financial statements, profit and loss statements every month, to see that consistently they had how much money they had in profit at the end of each month. And after 6 to 7 or 8 months, or in one case, I think we did it over a year, and we saw that, okay, you can afford, a part-time employee, right? And so, or maybe 2 part-time employees, based upon, we mapped out what it would cost them to do that. We mapped out what those individuals would be doing, and how many hours that this particular client could actually afford to have come in. And then we mapped out, okay, what does that look like in generated business? For that time when you hire that person. So by the time we did all that, and then by the next year, they were able to hire. We even had to go in, Gilbert, and adjust prices. Another area when we look at businesses, when we first start our business, and this is I don't care what industry you're in, you always underprice yourself, because you want to be able to get clients to come and support you, right? And to
Yeah.
buy your product or services.
Right.
So you do things like deep discounts, um, and biting into your profit because you don't take into consideration of how much it costs you to actually produce your product. I had a client, I had a call this morning. First thing that was, I had someone that reached out to my pricing correctly, and but I don't know how. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Adjust the prices. And so I said, so I gave them what the most of that formula is, that you have to, what is the raw materials? What does it cost you to produce your product to get it to marketplace? So you have to include all of your raw materials, your shipping, your labor, and then you
Yeah.
want to include your fixed expenses. If
Yeah.
you have a brick and mortar, you have to include that in. You have
Hmm.
to include your utilities, whatever it costs you to run your business. And so he says,
Yeah.
"Wow." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I didn't include that any of that in. What I did
Yeah.
was, and what people do, they look
Yeah.
out at their competitors
Yeah.
and they go, okay, well, they're charging this amount,
Yeah.
and I want to be somewhere in the middle of them, right? And I'm going to
Yeah.
charge this amount." So expenses, raw materials, anything that it takes to produce the product is never included. Your personal labor, right?
Yeah.
Your personal labor. And so that was a question he has. He says, "Well, what labor charge do you use?" I said, "Well, my gauge is," and you guys, can tell me if you use a different formula. My gauge is, what is your marketable rate if you were working for someone else? How much
Yeah.
would you be, what, based upon your skill set, your experience value, um how long you've been doing what you're doing, what would it cost someone to hire you as an employee?
Right.
So he gave
Right.
me the number and I said, "Okay, then that's your rate." He goes, "Really?" I said, "Well, if that's what I said, have you gotten an offer?" He said, "Yeah, I've had an offer for that amount." I said, like, "Okay, well, then that's your marketable rate. Now you have to adjust that. And you might want to give some discounts or something to your returning customers, but you can't undercut your labor,
Yeah.
right?"
Labor,
So
labor is very expensive, and it occupies a big part of your operating expense.
right,
So
is a big part. So
yeah.
I told him, I said, "Think about it. Think about this. When we go to an auto mechanic, the part might cost $4, but the repair may cost 1,200."
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Because it's not the part, it's the labor that they charge you." And they have the sign up on the wall, what the labor price starts out. It may start at $45 an hour. It may start
Yeah.
out at $65 an hour.
Yeah.
So, and if it takes 2 to 3 to 4 hours, then that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the
Yeah.
labor, not the
Yeah.
part,
Right.
right?
I think Crystal, what we could do is that document you have in front of you. I think maybe we can pop it up on the share screen here so folks can follow along with us and see what we're saying. I have it here if you want me to pop it up.
Yeah, you'll have to
Uh,
share. My system is at its max right now.
okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share this because we're talking about pricing right now, and I
Yes.
think I think they need to kind of see what we're talking about, what we're referring to when we talk about pricing. So let's do this. Can you see my screen?
I see it. So there you go. Pricing.
Okay, pricing. So you were just talking about pricing, and right here, this writer in this article said that A clearly defined pricing strategy that takes your company's finances into account is important to ensure adequate cash flow and profitability. That's exactly what you're saying, co-host. You're saying, and also it's saying given deep discounts may not always be the best strategy because a lower price can deteriorate your brand and make it difficult to increase prices in the future. So that's exactly what you're saying right there to your client, you know, and it's just amazing that this writer is saying the same thing you're saying.
Right. You have to value, and then this is something I think when I very first met you, Gilbert, you talked about this, your unique value proposition, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I call it your unique value, selling proposition. You use your
yeah,
USP, and I
yeah,
use your UVP. So
yeah,
it's all about how you value the skill sets that you have
yeah,
and what value it will bring to the client that you're going to be serving, right?
yeah, yes, yeah. And
So
a lot of
it
people, when they hear about unique selling proposition, to be unique that will attract your customer, they think that lowering the price is that USP. It's that unique selling proposition. And no, lowering your price is not your unique, is not one of your unique selling proposition because anybody can lower their price. Anybody. It's called unique because what you're doing is so unique that your competitors, they can't afford to do it or they're not doing it. So
right.
so whatever you're offering as unique has to be different than pricing.
Yes, it has to be you. And again, you have, what are you bringing to the table? And I always use a comparative even with your competition. So in the industry that we're in, Gilbert, we have competitors everywhere, right?
Yeah,
There are a whole lot of business coaches out there,
yeah,
but you and I both have our own unique twist on what we do, right?
yeah,
And what
yeah,
we bring to the table. Now, there are ways for you, and if I find in the community that we want to help our small businesses. So when you're in that position where you want to service the community that you're in, then you have to find the people that's going to be willing to pay you so that you can then do the work that you want to do, but
yeah.
they're making sure that you're compensated, because I can't help you if I can't put food on my own table,
Right, right,
right? I have to be able to put food on my own table. And so I think it's very important for business owners to realize to be in business does not require you to be broke,
right,
and
right, right.
you will be a much more effective there you go. Will be a more effective business person if you can make sure you can put food on your table and take care of your family as well.
Yeah,
Greg says people buy on price, reputation, and service. So if you sell on price, then you'll always be undercut by your competition. That is
that's
exactly
right.
right, because that's
And, and
easy.
and cutting a price is so easy by any entity. Anyone could cut their price. Does that mean your clients or your customers going to stick with you because of that? No, because
No,
anyone can cut price. So you have to have that unique selling proposition to make them want to stick with you. And you got to
right,
find out what that is. You know,
right,
what is it? Is it the fact that no money back guarantee? Is it the fact that if the client purchases your product and then they're not happy with it, they can return it at no cost to them? Is it because if they try it out for 30 days and they don't like it, you'll give it to them for free? You know, what is it? What is it that you're doing? You know, is it because when you do a project for them, if they're not happy, you'll come back and do it and give them, like, you know, a 3-month guarantee or something? Like, there has to be something that makes that client want to put their hand in their pocket and come up with money to pay you. That really differentiates you from the
right,
competitor.
right.
This
Exactly,
right here,
exactly.
Crystal.
And you're
This right here. This right here is down your alley, Crystal. This is. Can you see it? It says
uh-huh.
which
The
areas of
profit and loss
finance.
statement.
Yeah. says which areas of
Yeah.
finance does a business owner need to understand? And here it's talking about the three financial reports, right?
Right.
So do you wanna read this
Yeah.
part
So
for
today
me?
I was talking to a client. We were reviewing financials, and so because I've been trying to get my clients to look at increasing their revenues and projecting out their revenues and being clear on where they're spending their money. So I was telling my client today, I said, last year, and this was all blowing over your head. You were finding this area so frustrating. I said, but this year we've been working for the last 6 months on you really understanding your financials. And now you can sit here and explain to me your financial statements, your profit and loss. And this was a revelation, and it made me feel good. She was calling me. She goes, I think I posted something incorrectly. I know it's not in the right place. I don't know how to explain it to you, but I just know it's not right. Right. And she says, and I think so. We went through it, and I said, well, show me what it is. And so she was showing me. She goes, I said, you're absolutely right. You doubled a cost for this client, but it was already in the system. So she's like, I knew it wasn't adding up right. And so she goes, and I wasn't quite sure how to fix it, but it was all about, clients that do the shipping expense versus being a cost of good, right? So
Yeah,
she couldn't understand, and then, a lot of times when you do shipping and handling, the handling part is actually a profit, right?
yeah,
So she was putting it under an expense, and so it was reducing her revenue because it really should have been an income. So she
yeah,
was able to tell me why she thought it wasn't working, and then we were able to look at her chart of accounts and make some
yeah.
adjustments. But I
Right,
told her a year ago she would not have been able to explain that to me at
right,
all. But
right.
because we've been working on and I've been teaching her how to read her financial reports, her
Right,
profit and loss statement, to see where her income is,
right,
to see where she's being billed, to make sure that when you reconcile your bank statements, that there's no errors or uh, you categorized it in the wrong place, and then how we fix it. So she was able to walk right along with me in fixing it based upon what I've taught her, how I've taught her to read her financial statements.
and see, this whole thing, Crystal, is very, may seem pretty simple, but it is simple. And it's just like going to school and learning how to read, right? You learn how to read, understand, and then by you reading and understand, then you get to apply what you're learning, right? And it's the
Yes.
same thing with a financial statement. You learn how to read it, you learn how to understand it, and then you can understand what you need to do, why she did what she did, and she was able to explain those things to you because now she understands it. So that's where the literacy part comes in, where we're teaching the small businesses how to read these financials. And it doesn't take an expert, a CPA, or anything. It's simple. It's simple. Just like with this profit and loss, for example. Look at this profit and loss narrative right here.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
it says this financial statement details the amount of profit or loss over a specific period of time, commonly a fiscal quarter or a fiscal year. The statement details the company's revenues, expenses, gains, and losses. That's all you need to know about profit and loss. And it's easy. It's in the name. Profit, you make money. Loss, you lose money.
Hmm.
So it's the same thing. So what's a profit? What's going to give you a profit? Well, you got to make sales. Sales. That's the
Right.
first thing you got to think of on your profit and loss. Sales. And then what's the loss? Well, the loss is going to be the expenses that you're paying. and those expenses probably going to be rent, utilities, payroll, supplies, insurance, all of those types of things, distribution costs, all of those things are losses because you're paying it. Anything you have to pay is a loss, right? And
Right.
everything that comes into the business, you're bringing it in terms of revenue, sales. That's a profit. That's a profitable item. So when you bring some money into the business and you subtract your losses or your expenses from it, whatever is left over, that's your income. That's your net income right there. And that's how folks got to look at these financial statements. Am I right, Crystal? Crystal,
Exactly. Give you can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Gilbert, Greg calls us the financial literacy prophets. So I'm going to give you a prime example of a financial why the P&L is so important. I'm working with a client right now that we're going public. But guys, for those of you that actually own stock, one of the reasons that you purchase the stock that you purchase is because they are required by law, by the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, to make sure that all of their financial statements are available to you, right? So based upon what you see, you can evaluate the stability and the profitability of that particular company, right? So if you
Yes.
look at signing off, happy Friday and happy Memorial Day, Greg, have fun.
Oh, he's leaving?
Yeah, he's leaving us. So when you
Bye,
look
Greg.
at another company and you want to see the how sustainable that company and how solid that company is, you're using their financial statement. So let's back it up a little bit. When you go and you're looking for some funding for your business, that is the way the bank makes sure of your profitability. So
Yeah.
they want to see it over a period of time, right? They're going to look over a 3-year period of time. If you just started your business, in the very beginning, your resources or your revenue is going to be, it takes time to build up to get to your capacity, right? So
Yeah.
they'll see the first year that you started out, you had expenses to start your business. And so therefore there's some one-time expenses there that may not be duplicated or may not be repeated in the next year. In the next year, we should see a steady growth of your business, right? We should see your revenue increasing. um, we should be able to see that you can balance your expenses against the revenue that you're generating. Then the third year should be showing more progression, more increase in revenue, right? So now if I'm a banker and I'm looking at you and I'm seeing that there's some significant increases from when you first started your business till now, but I also see that in order for you to get to that next level, you're going to need an infusion of cash, right? So I
Yeah.
see that you reached your capacity, and so if you get a loan for whatever that amount is, that loan should be able to help you to significantly increase your revenue for the next 3 to 5 years. And so that's
Yeah.
where your projections come in. So that
Yeah.
is why the financial statements are so important to help detail exactly what your profitability is in your company. And
Yeah.
it is not just, and I always tell people, it's not just for the external person, it's also for you because it gives
Yeah.
you markers on how well you're doing in your business.
It's a roadmap.
It's a roadmap. So that's why it's important. So that's why I highly recommend that people have an accounting system. Or, the other night when we were doing a class and somebody told me they had all their financials in their head or in a basket or with receipts or
It,
their
it,
bank account.
it sounds hilarious, but it's true, man. There's so many small businesses. That's it.
Right. So again, the profit and loss statement is exactly what it is. It's this is outlining and detailing your profit, and then it's also showing what your expenses are, and then what your net income is after you subtracted out your expenses. So that's what the profit and loss statement is. And I
Yeah.
assume the next one there is the balance sheet.
Yep. Definitely. So I'm gonna get to that. Let me.
So the balance sheet is tells the story of how much cash is on hand.
Mm,
So it gives you a full on assessment of the client of the company's assets and their liabilities. So basically, how much is the company valued at based upon the assets, which would be your cash, um, um, inventory, property, equipment. Those are all the components of a balance sheet, and then your liabilities, what you owe, as in your accounts payable, what you owe out to your vendors, your loans, if you have any loans, and then your equity, which is your investment in your business, and any money in your returned early earnings, which is your profit. So at that point, it gives us a sound overview and understanding of the net worth of your business. So that's what it
right.
is. And you also can do that with your personal life as well, your personal um
Yeah.
whatever your assets are,
Right.
minus your liabilities, which is loans, car loans, things like that.
Right.
And so it gives us a full understanding of your you as a person, your I mean your business, and what it looks like on paper. And so now that lets a lender or an investor understand exactly if your company is sustainable for them to invest in. Is it if it's again about profitability?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
then the third financial statement, that would be your statement
Cash
of cash
flow.
flow. Right. So right
Yeah.
here.
So that cash flow is helping, detailing how money is flowing in and out of your business through your operations
Uh-huh.
activities, through your investment opportunities, and through your funding opportunities. So you know how much, as you can see right there, publicly traded companies must disclose their cash flow to the security exchange, so that and then this information is public. And so I'm going to use something that's in the news right today, Gilbert.
Yeah.
So everyone knows that Elon Musk is looking to buy Twitter, right? And he
Yeah.
offered a $42 billion price tag on
Oh,
Twitter.
he increased it. He
So
increased it from 40, huh?
yeah, well, he what he said was he would pay $54.01 or 20 cent for every share that is out there,
Mm,
including those of us that own shares. Well,
right.
what has happened is that Elon Musk, his money is tied up. His money is tied up in his Tesla stock, right?
Right. Right.
So he took his Tesla stock and invested a great portion of it into cryptocurrency.
Mm,
So when cryptocurrency fell, and it's been steadily falling,
right.
lost billions of dollars
Wow.
based upon that. And that was going to be the money he was going to use to buy Twitter.
I see.
And so with crypto, so this is why it's so important for financial statements. So with your financials, when you're looking at your profit and loss, when you're looking at your balance sheet, and you're looking at your cash flow, it's based upon actual money that's in your bank account, right?
Yeah.
Or the value that's assessed to your assets, right?
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
marketable valuable values that are assessed to automobiles, to equipment, to real estate, right? This
Yeah.
tangible. Crypto is based upon whatever you believe that it could have value in it. So if someone devalues it because it hasn't, it's like air, and you devalue it, then it drops. And so now he is in a really precarious situation because his cash flow statements can't show that he has the money because it's all invested in crypto.
Right. Right. Right.
And so that's a valuable lesson for those of us, for those that are just super enthused by cryptocurrency. It's the value is intangible.
Mm.
Again, almost like some of those pipe dreams about winning the lottery and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. I
Yeah.
thought I For me, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Because even though the American dollar is not is governed, or the American dollar is now dictated by whatever the government says that it is. Um, but there are some tangible there are some tangible um commodities that it is attached to.
Yeah.
Crypto is all subjective.
It's
And
not attached
so
to
when you're
anything,
a
really.
public company, huh?
It's not attached to anything, really. Right? Like the
No, it
dollar.
isn't. No, no, no. Gold, there's some gold nuggets. Diamonds, there's some diamonds.
Right.
Rubies, jewelry, there's something valuable to it. But
Yeah.
crypto is not. So that's kind of I guess when we look at today's world and we see how much money is flowing around, um, he is supposed to be the richest man in the world. But
Yeah.
now we see that his riches were based upon
Projections.
projections based upon cryptocurrency and
Yeah.
whatever is perceived to have value. So, like today, let me look and see. Crypto is valued at. Let me look on my investment platform here. I think crypto is at 28,000. Bitcoin's at $28,000. $28,000 now. 2 months ago, it was at
Yeah.
50.
Wow. So it went down almost 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Again, so when you look at the stock market, it's based upon the value of the company, right? It's based upon tangible, what your assets are, what your profits are, what your losses are, what your cash flow is. And that's how we have to look at our business, just like, big business looks at theirs.
Right. Right.
That's the important. So that's what is important, guy. Understanding how money works.
Yeah.
There's tons of information out there, and it's actually kind of. I mean, it's not a to me, it's not a boring topic because
Yeah.
it says a lot, and it says it values the time and energy and the investments that you've made into your business.
Hmm.
That's what it's done. So,
Right.
so just saying it to everyone, being financially literate about your business is very important. So I say study. I say read documentations, the Forbes report, what other Wall Street Journal. There's tons of information, but make yourself invest in your own knowledge to understand how money really works and how you can grow it. Everyone can. Warren Buffett said, everyone can be a billionaire if you understand how money works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And that's what we're trying to
Okay.
do, is to get folks to understand how it works so they can make
And how
better
to grow
decisions
their
about
business.
their business. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody has the potential. In America, everyone could be a millionaire. It doesn't really. It just requires you understanding what it takes to get there. As
Hmm.
Warren Buffett said, when he started out, he had $1,500. Now he's a very wealthy man. Took a long time, but he was steadfast in his education and learning how to make and for him, he invests in things that people need, and that's what you need. Your business needs to be solving somebody's problem or providing some sort of solution to a need that consumers need, and they will look for you to support your business versus you having to go look for them. So,
That makes
guys,
sense to
our guest
me.
didn't come, but you guys got a financial literacy lesson today from Gilbert and
Yep,
I.
yep, yep.
So, next week,
And this will be posted on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, so you guys can go there and obtain the link, and you can watch it over and over. If there's anything that you missed, any key points that Crystal made that you think you didn't clearly understand, you can go back and she will guide you through the process. So, and then the link is going to be there, so you guys can just check it out. Check it out for your business. I think this has been some great information and material that we shared with you. So I really, really want all of you small businesses to start looking into your business. Start asking yourself, do I understand this process? Do I really understand how the money works in my business? Do I understand how money comes into my business and how it goes out? And then how many ways do money come into my business? How many ways does the money leave your business? That's really the key. And when it leaves your business, how much is leaving the business and how much is coming in? So you want to look at it this way, right? if you're if you're in a situation where you need a lot of bodies, the more bodies you have, the better things will be. Look at that as your income or revenue. So whatever revenues are coming in, you're good, right? Same thing with this business. And then the number of revenues going out is bad for you, because now that's money going through the windows that you can do nothing about. So keep that in mind, guys.
all right. So, Gilbert, next week we have a public relations specialist that's come in. She has her own business called Snap Productions. Her name is
All
Ginger
right.
Campbell, so she's going to
All
be our
right.
guest next week.
Very good.
And then after that, we have guests, two guests for the following week. For the next 3 weeks, we have guests. So,
Did
um,
Richard Polay, did he confirm June 2nd
I
or
think
3rd?
he did. I sent him over the. Let me put it this way: I sent him over the information. He hadn't gotten it back to me yet.
Because he said he was going to do this thing on June 3rd. Yeah, June 3rd. So
Yeah,
we want,
I will reach out to him. I sent him the information. He was supposed to fill it out, so I will touch base with him next on Monday, or not on Monday, because Monday is a holiday. Everyone, it's Memorial Day weekend, so we want to wish you guys a safe and happy Memorial. I
yeah.
also want to um, send prayers and blessings to the 21 people that died in Texas for the senseless shooting on Thursday. It's just the world we're living in. So prayers
And
and blessings, and I'm asking
also the
everyone, the
folks
people,
in Buffalo.
yeah, and the people in Buffalo, the was it 12 of them in 11, 12 of them in Buffalo. There
Yeah.
was, I think, 4 or 5 of them down in Orange County. So be safe out there this weekend, guys. Also,
Crystal, I want to make this very controversial point. Some people may hate me, some may like me. I don't really care. I want to make this point. If the shooters, if the shooters were black, do you think all these politicians will be saying, "Oh, it's a gun law. Oh, we can do nothing about it"? You think they'll be saying that? Or would they put a squad together going out looking for those guys? And I'm going to tell you this. You remember in Texas when you had that one guy, I don't know if he was an ex-con or not, it was in the military. And
yep,
in Dallas, it was in Dallas. And he shot up a mall and I think he killed
yep,
one or two cops and killed a lot of other people. Immediately, they did a manhunt for him and then they killed him right there on the spot. You see what I'm saying? And that was a
yep,
black dude. So
yeah,
I'm just saying, if this shooter and I don't, me, I don't like to be political, but this is real. We're dancing around this subject. We're dancing around it and not being truthful about it. If the shooter was a black person, they would have solved this problem a long time ago.
Yes,
So
they would have.
my thing is, what's good for Sue is good for Sally. Okay, so if they're trying to tell us that they can solve this if it's a black issue, they should be able to solve it if it's a white issue or
Well,
somebody.
and not just that. Remember before when the guy that was the police and they chased him all the way up into the San Bernardino Mountains, and
Yes,
the whole
yes,
entire police department went after him. The same thing with
yes,
the whole entire police department in
yes,
Dallas. But here, this was interesting. Those poor children, the parents were sitting there begging the police to go inside, to
yeah,
go in and
yeah.
protect the children, and they
Right.
refused. They would not go in.
That's my
And I was
point, man.
just reading today that the police officers were running down, chasing him down,
Yeah,
and he ran into the school. What
yeah.
kind of cops chases a person toward a elementary school?
That's crazy.
They should have been bringing him somewhere else so that he
That's
wouldn't
crazy.
have run into this school.
Yeah,
That was their job as a police officer. So it was just police officers. It's just the saddest thing on the that yesterday was just horribly sad.
yeah.
Thursday was just a sad day. Made you just want to cry. You know, this is what I want to say to everyone as well. June 7th is voting day for the primaries. These are topics I don't care what nationality you are, our vote matters and we need to make a change. First of all, I don't understand how an 18-year-old, you still can't buy alcohol. You got to be
Right,
21 to buy alcohol. You
right.
can't even rent a car
Yeah,
at 18. You got to be
yeah,
25, 26 years old to rent a car, right?
yeah,
Why the heck can you buy a automatic AK-47 at
yeah,
18 years of age? What?
yeah.
Why? And you can't even go into a club until you're 21 years of age.
I
What?
think I think they should do like Chris Rock said. Sell the bullets for $5,000 a bullet. I would be a little bit more conservative and say $1,000 a bullet. Okay, they're gonna put if they're gonna put 100 bullets in that gun, right, to fire it,
Right.
then it's 100 times 1,000 right there. It's
Right.
$100,000. So
Yeah.
they'll think a lot more before they fire those shots. Sparingly.
Right.
So that's just my
Exactly. Because just think about it. For you, the cigarettes are $10 a pack.
yeah,
People have stopped smoking because it
yeah,
costs too much to smoke. The
yeah,
guns and the bullets so
yeah,
outrageously priced.
right,
And if you're gonna be wealthy and want to have your gun, then go by all means go
yeah.
buy your
Go buy
$10,000
go
gun.
buy your $10,000 bullets because to me that would be a good way for them because since they don't want to vote and they don't want to put policies in place, all right, well, just put a tax on the bullets then. Put a
Put a
tax,
tax on the bullets.
and then that right there, you'll start seeing some reductions in these senseless killings.
Right, because how does
Because
an 18-year-old have enough money to buy a gun? So
that's
that
what
means
I'm
the gun
saying.
don't cost nothing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So
And the same thing happened with the Sandy Hook shooting, where those kids went there and killed those little babies. Kill them, and then the politicians were saying it's a hoax. It didn't happen. I mean,
right,
come on, your child is dead, and
right.
they're saying it didn't happen. It's
And
crazy.
and how would parents sit there and go through that process of crying and is a hoax? Give me a break.
Right, right.
It's
It's
insane. So
ridiculous, man.
go
It's
out and vote,
ridiculous.
people. That's all I'm
Yeah,
asking you is go make sure you do your research and vote. It is so important. This world
yeah,
is absolutely crazy. We need policies in place. We need politicians that are accountable and not not letting the NRA or any other insane individual control what's happening in our country. Our
Yeah.
country is heading down the toilets, and
Yeah.
we need to be more proactive. So that's what I'm asking you. June 7th, make sure you are prepared to vote. Everyone should have gotten their mail-in ballots. Use this weekend in between celebrating Memorial Day weekend. Use this weekend to review your ballots and go. That's all we're going to say.
I agree
So
with
with
you,
that, we're going to
Carlos.
sign off, and we're going to wish you guys a happy Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you guys next Friday.
All right, we're out.
We're out.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes I'm an entrepreneur.